Prophetic dream, November 4th, 2024. So, you guys, I had another one of these dreams where every time I get up to go pee and every time I go back to bed to finish sleeping, I'm in a another version of the same dream. So, in this dream, someone was shooting videos for different families. And they were shooting like a 5 minute video, they were shooting a thumbnail, and so every time it was a new family, and the families kept trying to fake like they were the perfect family. And as he would be in the process of shooting this video and the thumbnail, he would do things that would like surprise them or shock them. And part of the reason was because every single family was phony. Every single family. And every time I woke up, I'd have this dream. And as I was going to sleep, I'd go back into the dream. And it was a different family. Sometimes the mother hated the children hated the father, um, the siblings hated each other, the parents hated each other. Um, there'd be insects in some of their food. Everything that they tried to pretend was like perfect was not perfect. Their families were a mess, but they were all trying to make sure that this video would make their families look like their family was perfect. Um, Even the thumbnail would come out messed up because some of their filth would show, their dysfunction, their sin. And I think it just goes to show that at the very core of our nation is dysfunction and rot and sin. And they're not fooling anybody. They're not fooling God. Put it this way: the fact that everybody's trying to act like they're perfect. That's why God's got me preaching against TIs. TIs are trying to act like they're so perfect because they feel other people's pain and they're empaths, and that's why they're being targeted. But then they go on vacations and cruises when they know that people are starving to death. But they take the money and they go on the cruise or they go on the vacation anyway. It's beyond me. Only because the Lord doesn't let me do that. He makes me use any money that's not for food and shelter. He makes me use that to help people who are starving to death in the third world. He makes me sponsor 12 children. But our nation at the family level, at the home level, at all levels is corrupt. And it's fake, it's phony, and that's why God gave me this dream. It's a prophetic dream to let me know what state our nation is in right now. Just like with TIs will act like, well, I'll pay my tithes and offerings if I can, but I can't really afford it. And you find out that TIs are paying for memberships, subscriptions, cable. They go on vacations. They buy new clothes because they want to look good when the clothes they got are perfectly fine. Or they can get some cheesy clothes from church so they can take that money and use that money to help people that are starving to death. But the heart of so many TIs, in this sense, it's corrupt. They want to say that they're so righteous. We're so righteous. We're empaths. We feel other people's pain. We're chosen ones. That's why we're being targeted. And yet, they stand by and let people die because they'd rather have fun with their extra money rather than helping other people. And that's most of society. Ezekiel 16:48 and 49 says that this was the sin of your sister Sodom. She had pride, excess of food, prosperous ease, and she did not aid the poor and the needy. So this was one of the sins of Sodom and Gomorrah. She did not aid the poor and the needy, even though she had all this excess. So everyone's being judged. The TI, and I know a lot of you TIs, you hate me. You hate me. Kill the messenger. You won't listen to the message. You won't follow what I say. You'll just hate me. You won't support my channel. You'll speak against me, almost as if you were an agent of the program. Agents of the program speak against me too, but you guys do the same thing, and we're all corrupt. We're all corrupt. Jeremiah 17:9. The heart is deceitful. That's where TIs are saying, oh, we're empaths. We're chosen ones. We feel other people's pain. That's why we're being targeted. You've deceived yourself into thinking you're so righteous. That's why you're being targeted. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, and you will take your money, even as a TI who's suffering, and you'll go on a vacation. You'll pay for membership, subscriptions, cable. You know people are starving to death in the third world, and you don't even care. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. When you stand by and you know there's people starving to death and you don't do anything to help, that's wicked. That's evil. That's not an option. The option is for you to not have cable, subscriptions, memberships, buy new clothes when the clothes you have are perfectly fine, go on vacation, cruises. That's the option. It's not an option to pay your tithes and offerings. But just like with all these families, so many TIs are corrupt in the most fundamental sense of that word. And all these families, God kept taking me to a different family, a different family. It was all the same thing. They're trying to pretend they were perfect. And when the person was shooting this video, he just would expose. He would so much would be exposed before him, and then he would kind of shake them up. He would do something to shock them, and more of their evil would show. Just how this family was not perfect, was not loving, was not a perfect family. It was absolutely amazing. I send out my love to all y'all beautiful born again TIs. What I would tell you is to pay your tithes and offerings. Pray at least 2.5 hours a day. I could talk about corruption in my own heart. They're hitting me now, and I've been sleeping for 10 hours, and I'm like, I don't want to get up, Lord, until you stop them from targeting me. But then if the Lord stops the targeting, I'll go to sleep. And I'm sitting there saying, Lord, why don't you just manifest yourself stronger on my behalf and show them that you don't need to use them to get me up. You can get me up on my own. But that's not, yeah, that's true, but the Lord uses them to get me up sometimes, and then I have to be humble. The Lord's like, well, why don't you be humble and do what you already said you know is the case, which is whenever you're sleeping and I let them hit you, it's because it's time for you to get up. You have things you need to do, so be humble and get up and accept that I'm using this program to get you up. But even though he's letting them hit me and it be noticeable, I slept for like almost 10 hours, and the amount that he's letting them hit me is very tiny. It's not a lot. He's still subduing them. So it's not like he's not demonstrating that he is God. He is. So I'm corrupt too. But ultimately, I had to submit to the Lord and get up. I ask you to forgive me, Lord, for not submitting to you sooner. I didn't realize this after 12 already. It's like 12:33. I will not be able to pray before I have to leave the home, but God's protection over me has been just as strong. And then I'll pray shortly after I get back, because I need to go pick up some food from one of these food pantries. I send out my love to all y'all beautiful morning NTIs. God bless.